One front cover page, one double spread, one volume cover, and 7 pages of not a whole lot of information, to be honest, but we did get some vital pieces of information. But before that, I want to have a little rant with you guys.
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
Now, this doesn't apply to all of you, but I saw a lot of comments on the previous leaks video talking about how Gege's fumbling the story's fallen off, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of it was kind of based on the frustration that we only got a 7-page chapter. Now, I personally can see both sides. It was frustrating to get 7 pages. Absolutely, I agree. It sucks. But is Gege to blame for this? No, absolutely fucking not. He's sick. He's a human being. So I think to pretend otherwise that it is Gege to blame here is to basically ignore human basic decency. Like, I don't really like to rant a whole lot on this channel. I like to keep it quite upbeat and positive. The world has a lot of fucking negativity in it as it already is without some dipshit from Liverpool with a funny accent trying to add into that. That's why I try not to rant. And when I do have any sort of disgruntlements, I like to try and see the more positive side to said disgruntlements. But that being said, the amount of entitlement I saw from quote-unquote fans from across social media was rough, to say the least. You guys have to understand that these mangaka, they're humans. They're just like me and you, maybe a whole lot more talented, but this dude has been dropping peak upon peak for weeks now. Now, call me a glazer. I don't give a fuck. I don't, like, you can call me a glazer. It is what it is. So that being said, please just cut the man some slack. He's earned his break. I don't want to see another manga get so ill that they can't finish the story that they put so much time, love, and energy into, because we have too much of that already with Hunter x Hunter, Dragon Ball Super, Berserk. You know, there's so many more manga out there where the authors have ended up just passing away of ill health because of this, or they've not been able to complete their series, or they've had their series reduced because of their ill health. Anyway, yeah, rant over. Anyway, this chapter, it didn't quite give us a whole lot of information, as I mentioned before, but that is to be expected. But we did get two, that's 3. We did get 2, pieces of information here that I think are quite vital, to be honest with you. And the first is presented to us, well, the first and both of them are presented to us within the spread of Yuta and Sakuna here, with the title, The King of Curses and the Prodigy of the Modern Era. The two face off in their altered forms. Now, this double spread piqued my interest for 2 reasons. Number 1, Sakuna's face. It is, once again, drawn completely different. Now, you might be saying, Weeb, you're smoking absolute fucking crack, but allow me to reference previous works here. In this particular double spread of Maki stabbing Sakuna, Sakuna's face is drawn completely and utterly different. His eye mask is completely white, and it looks more like an additional piece of his face rather than something that's growing out of it. The way Sakuna is drawn here is more reminiscent of the Hollows and the Vaste Lorde from Bleach. It's as if he's wearing a mask, like, it's quite simply. But there is more information here, because in this exact same chapter where this most recent double spread came from, of chapter 253, Gege once again featured on the front page of Shonen's Weekly Jump here. If you look closely, Sakuna's face is drawn the exact same way here. So why is this so important? Well, actually, I kind of believe Gege is showing us a Sakuna who's regained his RCT output and fully healed in order to fight against Yuta. Now, remember, right now, Sakuna is extremely damaged with no RCT thanks to Yuji's soul-hitting punches. However, right now, Yuji can't connect any of those because those punches, they're useless because he's been locked out of a domain that's happening right now between Yuta and Sakuna, and it's also the same size as a basketball. So I'm not even sure if Yuji wanted to. He could enter. I'm not sure how the physics works on him entering a smaller globe. Strange either way. But this means that for 3 minutes, until this domain tug of war is done with, Sakuna is free to fight Yuta unencumbered in a free 1v1. And as we saw in the current chapter, Yuta has already taken punches from Sakuna, who quite frankly is fucking elated to see Yuta going further than he'd expected by taking over Gojo's body. And the last time we saw Sakuna this fucking happy, he was fighting Maki because he'd never seen anything like Maki, and he then proceeded to land a Black Flash, which then he continued to do even further because he was in the zone, and he ended up regaining his domain expansion. So, to further add into my evidence here, Sakuna's face mask here, specifically in this latest panel, is more fused into his face, more in comparison to the other previous drawings of him. And we know right now Sakuna is missing a part of that mask thanks to Yuji landing a fairly clean Black Flash a couple of chapters ago and breaking a piece of said mask. Speaking of masks, today's video is sponsored by Manta Sleep. Manta Sleep is a sleeper mask company that I personally use myself, and unironically, I genuinely swear by this. Sleep is very, very important, and if you're like me and you need absolute darkness, then you need to get yourself one of these sleeper masks from Manta here. They offer a wide range from the OG original sleep mask to the Manta Sleep Pro, which is what I use and highly, highly recommend. But if none of those are suitable, none of those work, none of those tickle your fancy, and you need a little bit more to boost up that sleeping thing here, you can invest yourself in the Manta Sleep Sound Mask. It is a Bluetooth mask that allows you to black out all light as well as sound, letting you listen to whatever the hell you want while you slumber. So, yes, use code WEEB. The link is in the bio to get yourself 10% off your order. And again, as always, a massive, massive shout out to Manta Sleep, friends of the channel here, for sponsoring today's video. Anyways, time to get back into the meat and potato of this video and to talk about the second piece of information, that is this double spread and what it gave us. And that is the color of Gojo's eyes. Well, Yuta's eyes, I suppose, while he's in control of Gojo's body. You see, Yuta's eyes right here in this double spread are a shade of green rather than blue that they normally are. Now, again, you might be sat here saying, yo, weeb, you're smoking crack again. You're just talking out of your ass. But Gege is a little bit, you could argue, sure, that Gege is a little bit colorblind and whatnot, but I'm going to back up my points with some raw evidence, plus a challenge to you, the subscribers. Also, by the way, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. We're on our way to 31k. That'd be pretty cool if we hit that on this video. 40k soon. 100k by the end of the year? Who knows? I don't fucking know. Anyway, in every color spread of Gojo right here across the series, Gojo's eyes are drawn to be a distinct blue. And I would challenge you to find me a panel where an official panel from sources that proves otherwise. It is a pretty well-known fact that Gojo's eyes are blue. However, just like Sakuna in this double panel, Gege has tried to sneak in a little detail past us here, and he thought we wouldn't fucking notice, but luckily, I live and breathe this shit, and I am obsessed. I am mentally ill with this series. Please help me. Anyway, this isn't the first time he's done this stuff. He recently dropped this page as a extra in one of the volume releases here, and it set the fandom ablaze because it was artwork of Gojo apparently waking up, which now, in hindsight, seems to be a possible hint to Yuta using his body, because at the time we saw this panel, we knew nothing of Yuta's plan, nor his conversation with Gojo to take over his body here. But just like I mentioned in this video here, feel free to check that one out after this one, I have a theory that Yuta is actually the secret love child of both the Fujiwara clans and the Sugawara, resulting in his ability to detain souls. I talk about that very much in depth in that video. Please go check that out. But similar to the Naruto series, I believe that he is missing a piece of the puzzle, and that piece of the puzzle being the 6 eyes. We're going into the eye stuff here, very Naruto reminiscent here. But there has been a theory floating around for a long, long time now around this community that Yuta could be the next one to inherit the 6 eyes, due to him already being a distant and only known relative of Gojo Satoru. Again, once again, I talked about this theory months ago. It is a rare weeb W with that theory. Normally my crackpot theory is just crash and burn here, but I talked about that theory months ago here, and I've been a big, big believer and pusher of that agenda right here. But with this double spread, Gege has somewhat hinted here that the 6 eyes have undergone somewhat of a change due to Yuta being at the helm of Gojo's body and piloting him like some sort of Gundam. But there was also something else outside of this here, and that was that Yuta wasn't able to access Gojo's memories from the body here, which is very interesting, and I wonder if these two facts could be related. I wonder if it's the 6 eyes potentially rejecting Yuta and allowing it to not, or I don't know, maybe the 6 eyes is a separate entity that chooses. I don't fucking know here. Maybe we're going a little bit too off on the deep end. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments. But this is something that has me slightly concerned, because Yuta is caught off guard by Sakuna using Domain Amp as well as Domain Expansion simultaneously at the same time. Something Sakuna notes here is that naturally what occurred within a domain that not even your little crows could enter wouldn't be known to you all, which is something we already knew regardless. We knew the crows couldn't enter that domain. We already knew that. Only what we were seeing was obviously what we were seeing. What the guys who were spectating the fight in verse were seeing was just a black ball being shook around and sliced up, I suppose. However, the workaround here was the assumption that once Yuta took over Gojo's body, he would have access to his memories, and this is a theory that I firmly believed in. However, in the same manner Kenjaku had access to the body memories, and he mentioned this also in Shibuya, and furthermore, to add into this, Gege also pointed out that Yorozu was able to act like Sumiki convincingly, and that was because the incarnated sorcerers were able to access the brain's memories. It's slightly different here, but same sort of process. An incarnated sorcerer was able to access the brain's memories, Kenjaku was able to access the body's memories. And within this chapter right here, Yuta is caught completely off guard by information that he should have known. It should have been no surprise to him, which makes me wonder if what Kenjaku mentioned in Shibuya only pertained to maybe the muscle memory of the body. I'm not entirely sure, but there's also this interesting piece now that, as I've gone back to read it, kind of stands out to me, because Mahito also mentions that in relation to this conversation, does it have to be the same for everyone? Considering our curse techniques, you and I practically live in different worlds, with Kenjaku remarking, I like that's kind of poetic, our curse techniques dictate different worlds. Something like this could be applied to Yuta in this scenario. I mean, Gojo was simply just worlds apart from Yuta, and prior to Yuta having taken over his techniques here, it puts them in complete and utterly different worlds. And considering how Yuta is using copy right now to use Kenjaku's technique to gain Gojo's body, it makes me wonder if the memories can be maybe diluted or not passed on because there is like a proxy going on. It's not the original technique, and I wonder if how Kenjaku was able to gain Geto's memories was because he was the originator of the technique, where now Yuta is kind of using a proxy method to do this. He's using his copy technique. Obviously, his original curse technique is copy, so it makes me wonder. But it's also entirely possible that Gege just completely forgot about this detail due to him being ill and only having the time to write and draw 7 pages. But to play devil's advocate here, slight glazing again, I made this mind map on stream recently, gathering all the information that I could about souls, and everything, and I mean everything, is connected. So it makes me wonder if Gege is playing 4D chess, or we're just not aware. But also, I'll be making a video on this mind map and this souls thing soon, so keep an eye out for that. But anyway, yeah, that's everything from me. There was a lot of sort of theory crafting to be made from just this double spread itself. The chapter itself didn't really give us a whole lot of information here. There is certain things that I do want to talk about a little bit further in depth, but they require their own separate videos, so we got a lot to cook for while Gege is taking his break and recovering. But anyways, if you've not already, consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out a ton, always helps me keep the lights on. And as always, make sure to go drink some water, go tell somebody you fucking love them. And as always, I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Much fucking love, big fucking kisses, peace.